What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Beat the Buzzer podcast. We got a lot of great topics to talk about. We're going to talk about LeBron and his comments during the All-Star game and some standing stuff for the playoffs. I'm Jack here with my co-host, Greg.
Welcome back, everyone. We're excited to jump into the latest news of the NBA. Quick reminder, if you aren't already subscribed, make sure to do so because it does help us out a lot. We're going to start this off by talking about LeBron James and what he said about his son over All-Star weekend. And then we're going to give our playoff predictions for the rest of the NBA season. There's about 23 to 25 games left.
Yeah, we're going to give ourselves about 5 minutes for the LeBron topic, and I'm going to start this one off right now. So LeBron said over the weekend that his last season he wants to play with his son. So he's not, which means he will not retire until after his son is in the NBA, and he also will be going to whatever team Bronny goes to. So Bronny is a junior in high school right now, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
Bronny is a junior. He'll be a senior next year, and the next year is the last deal or year of LeBron's contract. And then so he'll probably sign a 1-year deal somewhere else while Bronny's in college, and then after that, LeBron can go wherever he wants. So this brings up like an interesting debate because say Bronny's projected to go like 15th in the draft, and the
Currently ranked 34th.
Right. So say he improves and say he gets into like a mid first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So say like there's a team who's drafting 10th and could definitely take a better player who's projected to be better in their NBA career. Or do they take LeBron and take him as like a year rental and try to win a championship by like building around their existing team? So if you want to give your thoughts on that, and I'll see what you have to say about that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept. Like I said, LeBron James Jr. right now is ranked 34th, which is not that high.
No.
I know he has offers from schools like Duke and really good developmental programs that can maybe boost his draft stock, but that's not very high. So it'll be interesting. You'll also only get 1 year of like a 39-year-old LeBron James, maybe older, maybe like 40.
Yeah,
but it's 37 right now.
40, I think he'll turn 40 that season.
Yeah, so he said that 1 year with Bronny will be his last year in the NBA, and at the same time he's 40. So I mean, he's still LeBron James. I'm not gonna sit here and doubt him, but I think that could definitely affect Bronny's draft stock. I don't really know though. I think certain teams will definitely try and take a shot at that. It depends on how good your roster is. You're like, I can add a 40-year-old LeBron James right now and his son, and I already have some good talent. We can make a title run that
year. Yeah, and like, let's exclude like the top 5, top 10 picks, because the top 10 picks will probably be the projected picks like they always are. But after that, like also if he goes in the second round, like there's second round teams that always get a pick that are also already good. So the second round may be more coveted that year than the first round because that's where Bronny's going to go. But the other thing is like, say like the Warriors this year drafted 7 and 14, I think, and they were already stacked. So say a team like that has the 7th pick, maybe they just take Bronny just so they can get LeBron and make a title run instead. So
right. Also,
yeah, like that draft will probably be one of the most interesting drafts of all time.
100%. Oh, there's also if you have like the 28th pick and you were in the Eastern Conference Finals that year, why don't you just draft Bronny and add LeBron for a year?
Exactly.
Take another shot. That is a really interesting concept, though.
Right, and it's a couple years away, but first of all, thinking LeBron James retiring is kind of crazy. But just for that season, them two playing together would be awesome. But imagine like he helps his son win a championship in his first year in the NBA.
Yeah.
It'd be insane. And Bronny's very good. He can shoot. He can handle. He's a great defender. He's 6'4", probably still growing. So he's really probably going to get better. He's also not the main guy in his team, and will be a senior next year and probably the focal point of his team next year. So he's only going to get better. I expect him to probably be a first-round pick when it's all said and done.
I agree. I think I misspoke. It says 247 Sports has him ranked number 19 in the class of 2023.
Okay.
September 2020.
There are different reports because I've seen reports say that he's a second round.
Yeah, I don't really know how that is going to work out for him. But
again, he's one of
projected 19.
It's hard to judge a junior in high school, especially when he probably is not even close to done growing because
definitely
he's only 6'4".
School,
yeah.
6'4" isn't bad if he wants to play like a shooting guard position though.
Right. And I've seen him shoot the ball. He shoots the ball very well.
Yeah, he really does.
He's crazy athletic too, just like his dad. So not surprised.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the NBA standing. So Jack and I are going to predict. We aren't going to have a time limit for this. We're going to try and keep it a little bit on the shorter side, though. We're going to try and predict the top 8 seeds from each conference, and it's going to be hard. We're kind of picking out of the air right here, but yeah, the East is definitely harder than the West this year because for the first time like ever, the East is better than the West.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start off with that if you want to.
Yeah, I'll start with the East. I think the best way to do this is I'll give my first seed. We'll go 1 through 8. I'll give my first seed, then you give your first seed. I'll give my second, your second, just back and forth till we get 8. So the first seed, I think Miami will hold on to the first seed. They're fully healthy right now. Their schedule is not nearly as hard as some of the other teams that are high in the conference right now for the second half of the season. So it's very likely that Miami, now that they're fully healthy, stays with that first seed. I would not be surprised if they get the first seed.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. They're the only team besides the Bulls who didn't really make any moves at the deadline. So they've been playing with each other for like 50 games now.
Yeah.
So
Oladipo's coming back too.
Yeah, and they get Oladipo. They're going to get Morris back eventually. I don't even know what's up with that injury. But, I think they hold on to it, and especially because you look at strength of schedules. Milwaukee's the hardest for the rest of the year, and the Bulls are the second hardest for the rest of the year. So it's going to be hard for those two teams to kind of make a push for that number 1 seed. So I think Miami has that locked up.
All right. For number 2, like you just said, Milwaukee does have the hardest or strength of schedule the remaining games this season, but I still think they hold on to the second seed. The reason I see the Bulls dropping further is because the Bulls aren't fully healthy. Milwaukee's fully healthy. They have everyone back right now, and they're still the defending champions, so it's not like they can't beat better teams. So I see them being able to hold on to at least the second seed, or getting up to the second seed, actually, because they're right now at 5. But I think other teams are going to drop below them, and they'll be able to stay strong at probably get the second seed by the end of the season.
All right. This is not a homer pick. I'm going with the Chicago Bulls. I do think we are going to hang on to that number 2 spot. I know. But we are getting guys back. We're getting Caruso back, Lonzo back, Patrick Williams back, and we just signed Tristan Thompson, who was our only hole, a defensive rebounding center coming off the bench because Tony
block shots too.
Yep, Tony Bradley is just a block out there, basically.
Body.
So I really do think that that's going to push us over the edge. And when we get back healthy, we haven't seen a healthy Chicago Bulls team for the entire season because at the start of the year, Kobe White was out, and then Patrick Williams got hurt 5 games into the season. So I think they're going to gel really well. And I know that it might be a long shot, but that's my pick.
So for 3, I don't even have the Bulls at 3, honestly. I have the 76ers. They're in 3 right now. I think they'll stay in 3. James Harden will play his first game Friday for 76ers. Joel Embiid is the MVP right now. He's the best player in the league right now. It's close, but he's the best player in the league right now. And I think they stay there. I think it's very hard to have to guard James Harden and Joel Embiid. Their schedule's not as hard as some of the other teams left in the East, and I would not be surprised if they stay at 3.
Yeah, I think I have Philly dropping a little bit. I have Milwaukee at 3. I know they do have a tough schedule, but they are the defending champions, and they played together for a long time. I don't really care that they have the second hardest schedule in the league because they're just a really good team, and nobody can stop Giannis. So definitely Milwaukee there. And then I'll go with my number 4. I do have Philly at 4. I don't know how well Harden and Embiid are going to kind of match up together when they start. I think eventually it'll be totally fine. But at least to start, I don't know how well that they're going to work together. They got to kind of play through pain until they can find a good rhythm. And then I think still Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid, so nobody can stop.
I do agree there'll be a bit of a learning curve for them, but Joel Embiid is so good, and James Harden we saw last year was able to take a step back, so I don't think they'll be as big of a problem this year since he dealt with that on Brooklyn as well.
Yeah.
But I'll give mine number 4. I think Chicago will be number 4. The reason I don't have them at 2 is because we got Zach back and then like right after the All-Star break, but Caruso's still a couple weeks away. P. Will's not till the middle of March, and Lonzo's not till the end of March. And I love the Tristan Thompson pickup. I think that's huge for the playoffs. I think it's huge for the rest of the regular season as well. But our first 6 games back are all against playoff teams, and some of them are. We play Miami, played Atlanta twice, we played Milwaukee once. So we played all good teams in our first 6 games back, which is why I see us dropping a couple of those and probably dropping a bit in the standings, which is
Yeah.
why I'm going to have us around 4. I think once we get healthy, we'll stay pretty stable around 3 or 4 for the rest of the season.
Totally. And I think just having, I mean, we have a big three that's completely healthy right now with DeMar, Zach, and Vooch, which is really hard to stop on its own. And then when you just add more pieces around that, it's going to be really fun to watch. All right. So at 5, I really wanted to pick Cleveland, but for some reason, I just think they're such a young team that I can see them dropping to a 6 seed. So this is where I'm going to plug in the Brooklyn Nets. They are currently 5.5 or 4.5 games back right now from that spot.
Yep.
And it's really all of this is jumbled together. The 8 seed is only 7 games back, which is still a lot from the first seed, but it's 4.5 from 3, 4, and 5. So all of this is really tight. But I think with their new additions, I think Ben Simmons coming back right after the All-Star break, Kyrie's going to start playing more. They finally get a chance to all play together as a team. They just signed Goran Dragic too, which is a really nice pickup for them. I think they're going to make a push for that spot.
So I am going to actually put Cleveland at 5 because they got the Karis LeVert move. Darius Garland's healthy again. Jared Allen's played great. Kevin Love has accepted his role as that veteran off the bench. And I don't see Brooklyn being able to climb that high, mainly because I heard Simmons isn't coming back for a couple more weeks. So
I thought it was right after the All-Star break.
I was under that assumption too, but it was reported. I saw a post that he's not going to be back for a couple weeks still as he works back from his mental health stuff.
Oh, right.
Durant is still a couple weeks out, and Kyrie, you never know what you're going to get from him. So I think Brooklyn stays afloat till everyone gets back, and they'll make their push at the end of the season. But then I guess I'll jump into my 6th one, which is I think Brooklyn will get to 6. I think once everyone's healthy, they're probably healthy around the same time Chicago is, mid-March to late March. I think they'll make the push to the 6th seed, and they'll probably be out of the play-in, but just at 6.
Okay, yeah, 6 is where I have Cleveland. Again, they're just a young team, and I don't think they have that winning mentality yet, like the DeMar DeRozans and Jimmy Butlers of the world really do. But I do think they're a really good team. I love the Karis LeVert addition. Their interior defense is great. Well, their perimeter defense is not the best, but that's going to be improved on when you have a 21-year-old point guard. And Karis LeVert's like 25 or something like that. So I do think they're a really good young team, but I don't think that I think with my predictions they'll be playing Philly first round, which would be a great matchup.
Great series.
Definitely for Cleveland. I mean, they're tier.
I think the play for yours will be Milwaukee first round, right? Because you have Milwaukee at 3.
Oh, that's right. I have Milwaukee at 3. Yeah.
Which would still be a great series.
It really would. I mean, all of these series are going to be great. Usually in the past, the NBA is.
Yeah, I was actually gonna. I think every single series in the first round will, of course, we'll go to at least 5. But I would be surprised if every single series during the playoffs in the Eastern Conference goes at least 6 games.
Yeah, I could totally see that, and I think that's really good for the NBA, especially for their rating, because you're going to have a team like Boston at the 8 seed or something like that, who just won like 10 in a row going into the All-Star break or before that loss.
Right. So speaking of Boston, I'm going to have them at 7.
Okay.
They've played great. They got back to out of the play into the 6th seed, but they're a little bit more unpredictable than the other teams. I don't feel like I can rely on them to play great all the time.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown figured it out during their win streak, but then you turn around and lose to Detroit. So I don't know how that is. I hope they keep working it out because it's great to watch them play together, but I see them probably dropping to 7 just because the East is so stacked. I don't see them staying at 6.
I agree. I have them dropping a little bit more because I have Toronto in that 7 spot. I just think they're so long, and the addition of Thaddeus Young is going to be really nice for them. If they can get like a established veteran like Robin Lopez or something in the buyout before that market expires, I think that'll be really nice for them. But having Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Van Vliet, and then Thaddeus Young, if you want to start him at the 5, is just a really nice, long, athletic team. Yep. And they're going to be an absolute problem in the first round. We've seen it in Chicago, Toronto games. They're a really good team, and they're well coached.
I'm going to put Toronto at 8, right behind Boston. which just rounds out the top 8 in the East. I think that's what the playoffs will look like. I think honorable mentions to probably Charlotte and Atlanta, which will be in the playing game, but I think Toronto is better than both those teams. I see them being able to get to the 8th spot, and we will see. But everything said about Toronto is true. I see Boston being better than them.
Yeah, and then I have Boston at 8-2. I mean, it all depends on the Browns and how, or the Bees or whatever they're called. I don't know. Oh, Jason and Jalen. How far that they can carry them. They do have really good interior defense, which is surprising, but Robert Williams is a really underrated player. So I think they can be good. I do love the additions of Derek White, and Daniel Tice hasn't even played yet for them. So I think that they will be good. And even the playing games are going to be really fun to watch. Toronto, Boston in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have to play winner of probably Atlanta, Charlotte.
Yeah. So that rounds out the East. We all have the same teams because the East, that's just how it's going to look. But it'll be interesting to see where each team falls, like how the schedule plays into it, how injuries play into it. Because there could be an injury we don't even see coming for any team that causes a different problem, but we'll see. Let's move into the West now. I'll start off with my number 1 seed in the West. I think Phoenix holds on to it. Yes, Chris Paul's out 6 to 8 weeks, but they're 6.5 games up on Golden State still right now.
Yeah.
And Devin Booker's great, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Carter. They have one of the most complete teams in the NBA. And I think they'll be able to stay above water at the 1 seed until Chris Paul's back for the beginning of the playoffs. And what do you think there?
Yeah, that 6.5 game lead is a pretty wide margin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was that much. They're 48-10 right now, have an 83% win percentage. They are one of the best coach teams in the league. They have great chemistry together, and it's campaign time. So I think I don't know how far Cameron Payne can carry you, but I do think that they will hang on to that 1 seed.
And I think Golden State will hang on to the 2 seed. Draymond will be back in a week or two. James Wiseman should be back in a couple of weeks. So they'll be fully healthy. I just don't seem to be able to catch up to Phoenix because Phoenix has made such a gap between everyone. And they're a good enough team to hang on to the lead that they've got. So I'd say Golden State's at 2.
Yeah, I also have them at 2. I think that was pretty predictable. They're getting Wiseman back and Draymond, like you said, and they're just going to play more games together and just really improve. They're young guys like Kuminga are playing more and playing better. That kid is going to be really good, which is a problem for the league. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think it's definitely those 2 at the top seeds for sure.
I have Memphis at 3. I think the top 3 that the West is now is how it's going to stay. Mm-hmm. Memphis has played great all year. Ja's been great. Their whole team is a solid, very solid team. Desmond Bane's been great. Steven Adams is great. Jaren Jackson, all of them are very promising young players, and they'll stay at that 3 seed, and they'll be a team no one wants to face in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have them at 3. It gets a little more unpredictable down the line, but these 3 40-win teams all play really well together. I think that Memphis's depth is really going to help carry them to the rest of the season. I do think they will get this 3 seed. They're a really, really deep team.
In the 4 spot, I'm going to move Dallas, who's in the 5 spot, to the 4 spot, just because ever since the Porzingis trade, Luka is on a tear.
Yeah.
He is probably, I think when he's at his best, he's a top 5, definitely top 10 player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And he's carrying them, and he continues to carry because he makes everyone around them so much better. And Utah's at 4 right now, just, has had struggles this season, and they lost Joe Ingles to injury, then to a trade. So that hurts them. Rudy Gobert's great and Donovan Mitchell's great, but you've mentioned in the past, Donovan Mitchell's not very efficient, and Rudy Gobert's not going to score by himself. So I think Luka is able to get the Mavs to the 4 spot.
I think we've seen Utah's ceiling as a team. They're a really good passing team, great shooting team. They chuck up a lot of threes, but when it comes playoff time and even in the regular season, there's things you can do to expose Rudy Gobert. They don't have the best perimeter defenders. Outside of Royce O'Neal, not the best perimeter defenders.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a ceiling there for Utah. I actually at 4, I'm going to have Denver. I know that's kind of surprising. They're only 6-4 in their last 10, but Jokic is Jokic. Aaron Gordon's been a great second fiddle to him too. I think he's doing really well. Guard's the best player every night. Also, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. might come back.
I think
I
Michael
don't.
Porter Jr. is less likely, but Jamal Murray should be back.
Yeah, I don't. I've heard reports that there's a chance both of them come back.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure. And if you get a borderline all-star point guard on a team with
I don't
Nicole
even think
Jokic,
it's borderline. I think when he's healthy, he's definitely an all-star.
yeah, I mean, he's really good, but also he hasn't played in a year and a half, so who knows? He's gonna have to go through the motions a lot.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of reports on him. I don't know if they're keeping them like they're trying to keep them on the low, or if he's
He
just
got
not
hurt
getting
last.
reported. He got hurt right after the All-Star break last year.
That's right.
So it's been a year. I don't know. We'll see. Even without them, I think you're right. Jokic can carry them. I have them at 6 where they are right now because I have Utah at 5. Just because even though I think Utah will drop from 4, they're still a good team. They're a great regular season team, of course, because in the playoffs they get exposed, but in the regular season, it's the regular season. So I think they're able to keep winning games and stay at the 5 spot.
Yeah, I have Utah at 5, which will be a great Denver-Utah series. That'll be really fun to watch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then just because, like you said, they are a really good regular season team. They're pretty deep. Having Jordan Clarkson come off the bench and just chuck threes is a definite luxury to have. They also got a nice little backup point guard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, I like him.
I think he's good, but he's no Joe Ingles. I think that's just a huge loss for them. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have him for the rest of the season anyway. And there were reports about them trying to trade him before for another wing defender. They didn't do that.
Yeah, we talked about that, but we never thought it was going to go through. He's not good enough to get anyone good in return.
He's really not.
But he's a solid player to be on your team.
Yeah. Oh, also, Phoenix getting Torrey Craig is
him going back there. That's a good move.
That's really nice. He's a really good defender, a really good defender. And then at 6 I have Dallas. I know it's Luka, but it's just Luka. It's nobody else. Jalen Brunson's there. Spencer Dinwiddie's there. There's no real big man help. You have Willie Cauley-Stein and you have Dwight Powell. So, I mean, say what you want about those guys.
I disagree just because Luka's surrounded by shooters.
Yes.
Dwight Powell, don't hand Dwight Powell. Have you watched Mavericks games? Dwight
Powell. I have watched Mavericks games.
Dwight Powell's athletic and a solid rebounder.
He's a nice lob threat. I'll give him that.
And when you have Luka, he can get 10 points just off lobs in the game. Luka is good enough to be that LeBron type to make everyone around him so much better. I don't see him getting past the second round.
He really is.
I don't see him getting past the second round because he needs a better team. And the way that the NBA works today, especially in the West, he needs a better team. But for the regular season, for them to just get the 4 spot is not far-fetched at all. So that's why I have him there.
Okay. He does start most games. He averages 4 rebounds a game, by the way. Probably because they all just clear out for Luka to pat his stat.
Luka does get I think he averages right around triple-double right now.
Yeah, like 8 or 9, which is insane.
At 6, I think I mentioned it, but I have Denver there. Nothing against them. I just don't see them they don't have enough firepower to get up in the standings. Yeah. And Jokic is going to keep them right where they are, but nowhere better than that. At 7, I'll jump in there real quick. I am going to give Minnesota their props. I think they're very good. Karl-Anthony Towns has been great this season. Anthony Edwards has been great this season. D'Lo has been pretty good this season. You've mentioned guys like Jared Vanderbilt in the past who are very good defenders. I like them. I think that on paper they're a good team, and they finally made some progress, so good for them. And I see them being able to hang on to the 7th spot.
Yeah, I really do want to get into Minnesota, but at the same time, I am going to put the Clippers over them. As much as I don't want to, it's Minnesota, so you can't just be like, hey, they're going to hang on because it's Minnesota, and they never do. But I do think that they'll get the 8th seed. I really like their team, but the Clippers are deeper. They're getting 2 stars back. They just got Powell and Covington, who can hopefully.
Well, Powell's now out for an extended period of time.
I saw that. I did see that.
Hurts them.
Right. It really does. But I do think that they're really well coached by Tyronn Lue. I do think that they'll get that 7th seed. And then I do have Minnesota at the 8th seed. I don't want to put the Lakers in there just because I don't.
We'll talk about that in a sec. I'm going to have put the Clippers at 8. I think Clippers are a scary team to play. No one wants to play them because their 2 stars could be coming back. And I think that they'll get into the playoffs, probably a 7 or 8 spot, and that'll be scary for Phoenix or Golden State, or maybe even Memphis if Memphis can get to 2, because no one wants to play a healthy Clippers team in the first round. Mm-hmm. And yes, the Lakers are out of and both of our picks, they're out of the playoffs. which is really disappointing because you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Russell Westbrook on your team. And I feel bad for LeBron because he's had one of his best seasons of his career at age 36 now, or 37, whatever he is. And they can't get to the playoffs, which is just upsetting and disappointing, really.
It is. Davis, there's a report that Davis is out another 4 weeks, or that's when he's going to get evaluated. So
they need to trade him. I think we'll talk about that in another episode, but the Lakers do need to trade him next season.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like he can't play 3 games. He's like the new Porzingis of the league now. He cannot play 3 games in a row without rolling his ankle, and that's nothing on him. He's not doing anything wrong.
It's just like the way he's soft. He's a little soft, and it's honestly look like the bruises and stuff is I think soft. But like you saw the ankle injury, that's just unfortunate. Like
it really is.
Unlucky play. He just fell on someone's foot and he rolled.
And then you got everybody in the media saying Data Davis and all the other.
Right, and you can call him out of shape, but that's not an out of shape injury. That's
no, it's really not.
It's like a freak injury.
He was playing good basketball before then, probably his best basketball of the season, grabbing like 14 boards a game, which he never does, but he needs to do for that team. Yeah. He was playing really well. The Lakers were still the Lakers, though. They're just not deep. They're old. I mean, your second best scorer right now is Malik Monk. Russell Westbrook is a problem in itself. Nobody even wants him anymore. He's probably going to be on the team for next season because his contract is so big. Yeah, and if I'm opting into that $44 million. I
think that's a good topic to jump into on probably the next episode if nothing big comes up. So we'll probably talk about the Lakers like everyone else does, but they're such a train wreck that you had to talk about them because you have to. But before we end today's episode, I do want to say, talk about Tristan Thompson pickup. You and I both said, don't worry about the trade deadline. Just wait for the buyout market. We're going to make a move for a big man. And Tristan Thompson was on our list of guys, and we got him.
Yeah.
He's a rebounder.
He was my number one.
Yeah. Sure. He's a rebounder. He can block shots. He's great to come in behind Vooch. And he can play he can play with Vooch, too, because he doesn't need touches.
And
so you can
100%.
strand him at the block or at the baseline and let Vooch go to work or put Vooch on the 3-point line, or you can have him set screen and rolls to DeMar. He's a great screener too. So
yeah, he's only 30, which is not very old at all. He's 6'9", he's a little faster. And another thing is he's a lob threat. He's our only like big man lob threat on the team now because Tony Bradley just I'm not going to get into
he can't get 2 inches off the ground. But that's great for when Lonzo comes back because Lonzo's one of the better passers in the league. So
yeah, and I think I do want to in our next episode talk about like the Bulls lineups and how they want to run the rotation. But I think you probably, as much as you can, because Io and Vooch have built up such a connection, try and get them to play together, and then Lonzo and Tristan Thompson will be fine. But yeah, I really do like it. I think Tristan Thompson is a great addition for us.
Yeah, so there you go. For the next episode, if you want to hear about the Lakers and the Bulls, please tune in.
We'll probably talk about the Knicks too, speaking of absolute brain wrecks. So yeah, that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the show and want to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing. Please do because it does help us out a lot. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Beat the Buzzer and on our new and improved TikTok that's uploading 3 videos
since the last episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go follow that. Go check it out. You know, if you don't want to listen to the whole episode, you want to hear some just quick clips, please go listen to TikTok. It's some great NBA news. But as always, if you want to leave some comments down below about the episode, if you want anything you want us to talk about, please do. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.